What are the easy existing matches that you have?
I don't really feel like I'm pushing against my mother.
Well, it doesn't matter. What are the easy existing good feeling matches? Because you just said it. There are so many things about my mother that I feel appreciation of.
Well, she taught me that it was okay to feel, if I may. So I noticed when my daughter was young, we would go to preschool.
Before you go, hold that, because we really do want to hear it. But before you do, we want to say a couple of things. My mother gave birth to me and gave me an avenue into this place. Easy existing match. My mother, no matter what, loved me and did the best that she could figure out how to do. Easy existing match. My mother was passionate about life. Easy existing match. My mother did so many nice things for so many people. Easy existing match. In other words, there are so many easy existing matches that when you focus upon your mother, you can join your inner being completely without having to sort out the pros and the cons of your mother or anyone else.
Yeah, honestly, it's not about trying to resolve issues with my mom, who passed away 4 years ago, with which I have a better relationship now than I had when she was on the planet.
It's not about calibrating to any humans. It's about calibrating to your inner being. That's what we really want you to hear. If you could hear that your work is calibrating to who you really are, not trying to figure out everything that you ever lived. People spend lifetimes trying to sort that stuff out and never get it sorted out. Because in every moment, the path of least resistance or the path of most allowance opens a new door for you. In other words, that truck wasn't there when you knew it was right to stop at that light. That was the right thing to do until a new piece of information came to you, and then the path of least resistance changed. The path of least resistance is always changing, and you know why? Because your inner being knows where you are in every moment in time in relationship to everything you want, and is always calling you in the direction of everything that you want.
Okay, so
tell us the story you were going to tell us, because we did interrupt something important.
It's all right.
See how that happened?
Infinite intelligence. I'm willing to wait.
Yeah.
You know.
Say what?
Infinite intelligence. I'm willing to wait. So I appreciated that she taught me that it was okay to feel. And so I remember when my daughter...
Not only okay to feel, you're born with the guidance system. You're born with emotions. If you don't pay attention to the way you feel, then you are setting aside the most important part of who you are, which is the relationship between you and you. And she intuitively knew that.
So what I noticed among the parents of the boys, I mean, I'm painting in broad strokes. It's probably not going to sound
We do
fair.
too. You got to do that.
Was that they were teaching them not to feel, not to pay attention to what they felt.
Or were they teaching them to chill? Were they teaching them not to get caught up in the weeds? Were they teaching them that, oh, you can have this fight with mama or sister or whoever it is, and you're not ever going to come to the end of it? Maybe some of them learned some stuff through life experience. Maybe some learned that when you come up to an opinionated person, and we're not talking gender here, an opinionated person who is very sure they're right, and you say, well, I'm not going to just get rolled over. I'm not just going to be a doormat, which means I should push against their opinion. We say that's still calibrating to them. In other words, what you want to do is to calibrate to something else. Join your inner being in looking for their existing matches. This is a passionate person. This person cares a lot. This person is asking in a strong way. This person's inner being is calling them to strong understanding. But maybe I would be inspired to say something that would be helpful, maybe not. But when it becomes an argument about whose opinion is right rather than whose vibrational alignment is strongest, you always lose. Jerry used to say to Esther, because he was a counselor, he was helping people with financial things, and he would say, and it was usually couples, one of them would come to him with some sort of negative proclamation of the other. And he would say to them, you know, if I don't go there, I can attract a lot of wonderful things. And he intuitively understood that. He wasn't speaking in these terms back in those days. But then he told Esther, after they were together, he said, I remember on more than one experience, a couple is fighting and they've decided they're going to divorce. And so one or the other of them comes to me and pleads their case to me about how right they are and how wrong the other one is. And he said, and then they get back together and now I'm the enemy. He just couldn't figure that out. Well, it's because they've joined this partnership in this fight, and in his peacemaking desire, they resonated with the anger and the discord of each other more than they were resonating with the whole of who they really are. And that's what's going on in humanity all the time, isn't it? Not everybody's disconnected all the time, and not everybody's in alignment all the time. But your mother was so wise in wanting you to be aware of the emotions that you were feeling, because that's how you know that you're calibrating to the source within you, to the reason you're here, to what you came for your purpose for life. In other words, unless you are caring about closing that gap, finding that harmony, then it's sort of like a cork bobbing on the ocean. Not much control is happening.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my life, there are so many things that are going so well.
Can you feel the sales job that we're doing with you? Because everything that you're saying is valid. Everything. And everything that you're saying, everyone in the room understands. They're living it too. And we appreciate so much how much contemplation, how much attention you've given to all of this, trying to figure it out. And what we're saying to you in ridiculously simplistic terms, we get that, is that you just can't get to where you want to be that way. You're just not going to sort it out. The way you're going to sort it out is by acknowledging that with all of that you've been living, what is it that you want for the girl valedictorians or the male valedictorians? What do you want for anyone who's striving for success and finding it? Do you know that satisfaction only comes from one thing? It comes from having a desire and moving in the direction of it. Esther can make a list of things that she intends to do today. And as she moves toward the accomplishment of it, she has a really good day. But if she violates her own intentions, she sets up a sort of tug of war within herself. And so rather than try to find the rightness and the wrongness, or who's doing it, is it the admissions boards, or is it the way these kids are being taught? How are you going to get to the bottom of who put the first marble in their bag and how many marbles got put in their bag? And you're making yourself nuts by trying to sort out why things are happening the way they're happening, when this is what's really going on. This is the story. This is what's really going on. You all said, I'll go, let's go, have experiences. Everybody said that. Let's go and make choices. Everybody said that. Everybody said, there's going to be stuff that I agree with and stuff I don't agree with. Everybody said that. But not one of you said, I'm going to have to clean up what I don't agree with in order to create what I do agree with. Not one of you said that. Not one of you said that. And yet when you say that in your human form, you cause a tug of war, because your inner being's not ever going to say that. Your inner being is going to appreciate every intention that every human holds. Your inner being is going to appreciate every belief that every human holds. Your inner being is going to appreciate the magnificence of the law of attraction, and the magnificence of free will, and the magnificence of this universe that is expanding constantly, and that needs all of this variety and diversity and contrast in order to expand. Your inner being is not ever going to cry in protest at those who haven't quite figured out how to let in what they're asking for. Your inner being is just going to revel in the fact that they are asking, and that the cooperative components are being gathered. You just got to give up your battles with each other. And most of the battle with yourself will go away when you give up your battles with each other. And you can tell when you've got a battle with yourself going on, because you don't feel good. It either feels like despair, or it feels like irritation. It's somewhere on the lower part of the emotional scale. It's an argument with yourself that you're wanting to get over, and an agreement with yourself that you're reaching for. And the beautiful thing about this understanding is that all these people that you've met up with, maybe if somebody you just met on the airplane, or maybe someone that has been your child since their birth, everything about your life with them has caused you to put so many marbles in your vortex bag. I want them to have a good life. I want them to know who they are. I want them to feel the fullness of who they are. I want them to discover their empowerment. I want them to calibrate to source energy. I want them to fulfill their reason for being. I want them to have fun along the way. I want them to come up with their own ideas about what they want. I want them to be the creator of their own experience. And this knowing what you do want, it's a stick with two ends on it. It's logical that on the other end of it, you're at the time you're saying all of those things, you're saying, I don't want them to be disempowered. I want them to be empowered. I don't want them to be confused. I want them to have clarity. I don't want them to have a hard time. I want them to follow the path of least resistance. I want them to feel their empowerment. Once you get the hang of this and you start deliberately joining your bags of marbles, you're going to notice that your point of attraction gives you evidence of the influence. Maybe one who's connected up like that is a million times more powerful than one who's out here on the raw and ragged edge.
So last thing. So my daughter is dating this guy, and he's a great guy.
Can you hear? Daughter dating a great guy.
Dating a great guy. And all I want for him, which I suppose is part of what I want for her, is that he can have that interconnection. And I suppose that what brought me up here with this question is, and talking about how do we reach out to our young men is I know him a little bit now, and I see what he's struggling with, and it's some of those same things, that...
So here's the thing. You can't be the stage manager or the dating manager or the law of attraction manager. Yeah. But what you can do is you can stand in your power, and you can put easy existing matches into your bag of marbles. This is the bottom line of what you're all reaching for. You can, by understanding and focusing, you can clarify your bag of marbles, harmonize it with the power that is really you, to the point that you can be one of the reasons in this moment and in this moment and in this moment that he gets a glimpse of who he is through your eyes. But if you're worried about him, that's the glimpse he gets. And now, don't you just want to go out and put deliberate marbles in your bag and see what happens? Not to control others, but to control your point of attraction, so that the universe can demonstrate to you how blessed you are, how seen you are, how powerful you are? Yeah. Really good conversation. We would like to proclaim this as the best conversation we've ever had. The best conversation we've ever had. Yeah.
Me too.